the process of increasing in size. A feature that is both individual, intrinsic, and throughout nature.
This is going to be so interesting, you know.
This is the moment we have been waiting for.
I'm feeling it now.
What has come before is now consigned to the history books. This new decade brings new challenges, new rivals, falling giants, and new beginnings.
Bang, bang, bang! 3 shots to the heart.
Oh,
at the back end.
Oh no!
Those who are climbing will meet. Who will fall by the wayside, and who will embody growth.
There's still wheel to wheel!
That is unbelievable.
League of Europe, grow or fade.
Good evening, comrades. Welcome to the Division 3 stream. We are here for round 4. Around, as you can see, the Russian circuit for this evening. My name is Jekyll, as always, bringing you guys here for tonight. Along with me, I have my fellow comrades, always here with me every single week. It is Mr. Killer Blue.
Hello, my name is Killer Blue. I look forward to very good motor race. I am much excited.
Much excited for us all as well. As you can see on your screen, we are on board with Kamke Mom. I don't know why my accent is changing slightly to a bit of an Indian accent, so I apologize. But we are going on board with Kanke in the Renault anyway. I'm gonna stop that now because that is very, very bad. You know what? We'll go back to normal. We'll go back to normal.
I can't keep this sort of professionalism going.
Unfortunately not. We tried it anyway. We failed, but I suppose that's what you got to do anyway. You got to risk it all for the biscuit. But yeah, as you can see, we are here for round 4 tonight for Division 3, Season 5. Of course, last time out, I believe it was Raleigh who ended up coming across the line in first, but after all of the stewards' inquiries, Bree did end up taking a win in the end last week. So Bree managing to pick up that win, if I'm not actually mistaken, Jake, has now gone in the lead of the championship.
He does. He leads by 4 points from Raleigh, who you mentioned won pre-stewards last week. Something actually interesting about last week, which I wanted to say, is that we actually had 3 winners last week. Carmentless won on track, Raleigh won on pens, and then Bree won on the stewards. So I think that kind of sums up how last week went. But yeah, Bree leading the championship on 50 points out of 75. Raleigh 4 points back, 46. Rudy on 31. It gets very crowded. Peter 28. Old School 25. Miami 21, and then there's a few people around who we were expected to be a bit higher up. Tinkan Carbentlist, 19, 18 points. So there's a few people there or thereabouts, but it's we mentioned last week about the order getting strung out, and that's definitely happened.
Yeah, no, it certainly is, and I mean, like you were saying, well, we've said there's probably going to be about 6 or 7 different winners just in the season alone. So far, everybody, we have had a different winner every single track so far, and I'm not going to lie, I'm expecting that to continue. There's been a few guys in this practice session already, as Rudy, one of them doing a 29.8. He is definitely one of them. He's yet to pick up a race win. His best result was last week at Canada in 3rd place. So, I mean, Rudy, you can't look past what his pace has been like so far this season. He's the only one so far in the 29s in the first 5 minutes of this Grand Prix, or qualifying session, sorry. I mean, yeah, I can't lie. I'm already going to predict it that Rudy could be the one for me tonight that could take it. Of course, there is a couple other guys as well that we've been in practice sessions with, like Old School, Miami Bree, Tin Can, Educk. Basically, all of the XL guys. We've seen like what they are capable of as well. So I'm kind of intrigued to see how this is going to go along. Well, there could be a couple dark horses within this race as well. I know Russia's a bit of like a Marmite track for everybody. It's like you either love it or you hate it, and I'm pretty sure me and Jake can probably both be the lovers of that side because we absolutely love this track.
Definitely.
So
definitely, it's
yeah,
it's got a nice flow. This track. It's that section in the middle is so sweeping, and it's just one corner flows into another. There's no stop or start. It's just like one continuous motion, the whole of the second sector. I think it's superb, but I know we are firmly in the minority with that opinion.
Yeah, that'd be certainly on. Yeah, as I said, I know it's more of like a Marmite track. Everyone either loves it or hates it. So, I mean, I guess we'll see today who will be the ones that actually like the track and who are the ones that actually hate the track. Because the guys that hate the track are probably going to be towards the lower order because they haven't really practiced it and they don't really want to. They don't really care about where they come tonight. But there are definitely a few guys that are a bit different on it and are probably a little bit on the fence of it, who will probably see towards the mid/top end that would have done a bit of practice towards it. And I'm expecting this person that I'm currently following to be one of them, Caesar, who is currently sitting down in 10th in the standings on 14 points, tied with his actual teammate, Division 5 winner last season of Cam K. I'm really surprised that Caesar is still down in 10th position. He's had a 6th place, an 7th place, and a DNF from last week at Canada, I think, where he had that collision with K-Mark. So, Caesar, for me, he came 3rd last season in the championship, behind myself and Yorno. So it would have been easy for him, or easy for us to say that he could be one of the top guys / a winner of Division 3. But at the moment, he's not showing it.
He's underwhelmed a little bit, hasn't he? We spoke about this last week, the amount of drivers that haven't quite got into their stride yet, and I'd say Caesar, who mentioned him being 3rd in the championship, is the one that stands out the most. But I think we may have cursed ourselves because, well, I've cursed him by saying that, because he was on an absolutely stonking first 2 sectors. He just went over the curb too hard into that little left-right off-camera chicane and just unsettled the back a little bit. But it's still a really nice lap, a 1:30.1, but that could have been easily pole position if he hadn't made that little mistake, because his first 2 sectors were up on Rudy by about a 10th, I think.
Yeah, and of course, talking about his teammate as well, Cam K, best lap that he's done so far is a 31.6, 3 laps on the soft tyres. And of course, if anybody doesn't know the strategy around here, around Russia, it's a very, very easy soft to medium. So I don't expect a lot of people outside of the top 10 to go on a bit of a reverse strategy. Maybe the guys towards the lower end could try and play it a bit lucky and hope that a safety car comes out midway through the race. I mean, last week in Division 3 we saw, 4 safety cars come out in Canada?
Yeah, and the guys who benefited were those ones who started at the back. Rudy came from 18th on the grid, I think, didn't he? And we saw that alt strat come to fruition towards the end of the race with those safety cars. This week, I agree with you. I think it's going to play less of a factor unless there is a fortuitous SC, because it's so easy. You can go so long on the soft. You can do half the race. You can do more than half the race on the soft if you need to. So I don't think it's necessarily going to be as advantageous to start the back and go mediums, but we'll see. I've heard bad things about the medium in the first stint, but I'm sure that a few of these guys will try it.
Yeah, I'm sure we will see a few guys go and opt for that one. I'm quickly riding on board with our pole man of Rudy 1973. He is currently on a lap now, making his way around turn 3. The long sweep in turn 3 and all the way up towards turn 4. A nice little 90-degree right-hander on that. Don't want to run too wide, otherwise you'll do exactly that. You will invalidate your lap. So the McLaren is not going to be able to improve on his lap at the moment. Peter, I was just seeing if he was on a lap, but he is not. The next one on a lap actually is going to be XL Bree. Well, I say next one on a lap. Next one out of the top 5 guys, Bree is the next one on a lap, currently making his way around turn 3 and see what his first sector is. Is he going to be up on his sector, just making his way around? Again, the 90-degree right-hander doesn't take it too wide, so nicely done from the Maltese man, as he's actually a 10th.5 up on his sector, so he could be on for getting, or being the second person into those 29s, Jake.
Yeah, that's a really nice first sector, and I think K-Mark, just to interrupt myself, K-Mark I think has spun at turn 2, he was going very slow and there was a yellow flag, but yeah, that Bree mid 6 there in sector 1, that's perfectly put himself up for mid 29 range, and we'll see how he does as he comes down the back straight into the start of the final sector. You want to be aiming to be around mid 1.3, high 1.3, 1.037. That's really nice for Bree. He's put himself up by nearly 3/10. He's on course to go into the 29. So Jerome Visser pops himself into 3rd. I think that's the first lap of note we've seen from him all season in qualifying. What's Bree got left in the tank for these last couple of corners? Very nice through the off-cambered left-right, and now just a tricky double right-hander. It's very easy to go deep into these corners. He keeps it nicely in play, doesn't use too much on the outside, and he does do a 29.9 and goes 2nd place. And Tin Can's jumped into 4th as well.
Yep, and also just realised that Mark's also jumped up into 3rd. Now another person into the 29.9s. I think Mark actually got that lap done just before Bree did, but Mark still nonetheless, again, is another one that's been up there for the beginning of this season. very unfortunately for him, in Australia he scored 0 points. In Canada last week, after having a few collisions with a few of the XL guys, of course not being his fault for a couple of those as well, he is still only on 25 points, where he took the win in Silverstone and could have had the potential of winning last week in Canada, but unfortunately for him, it just didn't go his way. Yeah, again, Mark's another one that we need to maybe keep our eye out for and see how he's going to fare on throughout the rest of the season, as Luke has actually just done a 30.2 to put himself up into 8th position. Miami still sitting in 9th at the moment with a 30.3, so no improvement from him. I think I saw him out on an outlap or on a lap, but no improvement. Carmentelis still a 30.6 for him. I think Raleigh, he's actually invalidated on his lap as well, so I'm just going around and seeing who is sort of where at the moment. Just seeing who's on laps.
Just say, while we're talking then, Kmart was going around without a front wing. He's now coming into the pits to change it. I'm not sure what happened to him. I said he had that drama when I interrupted myself at turn 2, and he's had another one further round. He did this last week as well during the race at Canada. Every now and then we'd see a yellow flag pop up and a little red dot stuck on track, and we'd be like, who is that? Oh, it's Kmart. He's at it again in Russia. He's taking the scenic route round, stopping to have a look at some of the scenery, maybe pick up a postcard. He's making a habit of this, and I wonder if these are genuine mistakes, or if he's just accepted he's not going to have a great qualifying and he's just doing donuts.
Might be the case. I know he did say before that he hasn't really done too much practice on it, so again, like I said earlier, it's going to be one of those where it's like a bit of a Marmite track, and I'm assuming that this is probably the one that he does not particularly like, as Trent's just made his way around the final corner at 30.9 for the Mercedes, not where he would like to be, and Caesar just getting a bit of slipstream, bit of a toe off of the Mercedes. So Caesar now, he's currently sitting in P6, he's going to be one of the first ones to get a final lap done, as I believe this will be the Indians' final lap for tonight. Kept on it very fine throughout turn 2, so managed to keep that very well, and Caesar, I feel like we're going to be seeing a massive improvement from him.
Yeah, he said he had that really good first run, and let's see where he is at the end of sector 1. Going to be a mid 32, 32.7. He's a little bit down, but not enough to take himself out of play, and he has that mistake that's he's gonna drag the time back. You just want to ride these curves, but not too much. They can really unsettle the car. You just got to be patient. It's very easy to overdrive the car through this section, and the best thing you can do is just play it nice and tidy. Little deep as he goes onto the straight, runs wide, squirm of understeer, but he opens the DRS, and we'll see where he's at the end of second sector. But just to do a little bit of housekeeping, Sofian has retired from the session. Not sure where that happened or why that's happened. And I was going to mention as well, as Caesar's still coming through sector 3 now, we spoke last week about how Raleigh and Sofian, two guys good in the race, who have struggled in qualifying. We mentioned if they want to take that step up to fighting for more wins, Sofian, Raleigh of course being second in the championship, they need to pull it out in the one lap pace, and this week again they're underwhelming a little bit as Caesar smashes in a 29.7, and that will take some beating. Great lap from the Indian, and there's a few people this session, aren't there, J. Cole, who are doing their first really good laps of the season. Caesar, Tin Can, Jerome, Luke, all of those guys have struggled to get into the top 10 so far this season, and here they all are, and they're all going at it. And it's going to mix up the grid a little bit nicely, I think.
Yeah, it certainly is. As Eduk and Tim Mats just improving on their times, only separating themselves by 24 thousandths of a second between each other. But yeah, I mean, like you're saying as well, Jake, it's a bit of been a bit of a mixed season so far for the guys that are in the lower half of that top 10. As you said, the likes of the likes of Tin Can, the likes of Jeroen, the likes of Luke, Tim Mats as well. Tim Mats, of course, last week had a pretty good qualifying, but just did not have a good race. But I mean, it's all down to that Sunday, or I say Sunday. It's all down to that race. At the moment, they are sitting where they've already gotten their laps done, whereas a lot more people are now starting to come out on their final laps, or come out to do a final lap. As Peter was one of them, and he's unfortunately invalidated his lap once again. Has the Dutchman in the AlphaTauri, but I mean, yeah, as I said, I'm kind of intrigued to see how the end of this qualifying is going to go, because, like I said, it brings it back to that point again. Russia is one of those ones where people will like it or people will hate the track. And I think we're starting to see really the people that actually like this track and the people that hate this track. Because at the moment, YHYY down in 18th position, not exactly where I'd expect him. He's only done a 31.0, which, again, this is someone that's been sort of around in the League of Europe, in even PRL times, where he was relatively dominant in it.
Absolutely right. Yeah, YHYY has been a stalwart, a veteran of this league, and he won here, in fact, in Season 3 in Division 2. I remember that race well. He started on mediums, went long, started raining, and he put on his inters and won the race.
My
Tin Can
goodness!
had a huge moment over the curve, that nearly into a barrel roll. I think we've seen a lot of drivers overcommit on their laps, because I saw that Peter went invalid. Tim Mats had a very poor lap. He's saving his fuel he's run out of fuel, in fact. I think Educk overcommitted as well. We're just seeing a few people trying too hard, I think, to get that good lap in, and it's not coming for them. You need to be gentle. I said earlier, you've got to treat the track like it's your grandma. Be nice and gentle. And we're not seeing drivers do that right now.
Yeah, no, we certainly aren't. But I'm just going to keep riding on board with one of the IFR guys in the Ferrari of Raleigh, of course, second place in the championship man as well. He's making his way around to Sector 3 now, 2.5 temps up on his time so far, so it might have been that Sector 3 where he needed the massive improvement. Let's have a look though. Raleigh is just making his way up towards the penultimate corner now to make his way up towards the final corner. Want to make sure you go quite deep into it, but not cut it too much. At a 30.2 for Raleigh, and that only puts him in P11, so that already shows how close this grid is. I mean, just looking at it, from 6th, from Tin Can, all the way down to probably, I'd say, about 15th of K-Mark. It's all split by just about 6/10 of a second, and it actually looks like that there is going to be a few more improvements that are going on. I think Raleigh's going for another lap.
If you got the fuel, you may as well, but he's in 11th place, and depends if he wants that alt strat. Who else have we got on laps? We've got Old School goes second, isn't able to take pole position. Rudy's not improving either, and he's had a big slide come in under the little tunnel at the start of Sector 3. Bree to the line, he improves, but he edges
Miami,
out Rudy. But
he's just coming around the final corner. Miami slots it into P7 at 29.993. And Carmentalist as well, I didn't realise also improved on his lap. I think Peter, again, once again, has unfortunately invalidated on his lap.
people have said, I've heard it said Peter's a one-lap merchant, but I'm not sure he is. He's good at qualifying, but I don't think he bottles the races as Giron comes across the line. And he goes into third now. Cracking lap from Giron. And
let's have a look at the other Mercedes though. He goes up in a P13, a 30.288. Again, another one into the 30.2s, I believe, unless Cam K is on a lap now, which unfortunately he's invalidated.
We got Raleigh JT, and he goes sixth. Second lap on those tyres. Thankfully, they wear so slow that that's not too much of a disadvantage for him. But Raleigh pulling out that one lap that we said he needed to find, and somersaults himself up into sixth. Who's going to be happy, would you say, with where they've qualified? Who's going to be disappointed?
I would say Caesar and Jerome for sure are going to be very happy with where they've
100%.
qualified.
Yeah.
I think Mark's going to be a little bit disappointed that he's only just sitting in second position. Maybe even Bree as well, because I know how much practice they've done. Miami as well, especially down in ninth position. I mean, again, this is one that was also maybe tipping with Bree as the constructor champion. So
I think Miami will definitely be disappointed. We hadn't mentioned him all session really till he came across the line at the end, but he's certainly someone we would have put in that bracket for pole. And I think the driver who qualified for me is Raleigh, as well as Caesar pulling out a lap when we've seen him second in the championship, but he's struggled with his qualifying pace, and that's a real statement of intent that he's managed to get that top six grid, and he can fight on an equal level now rather than having to drag his way up from outside the top 10.
yeah, no, without a doubt. And well, I think that this qualifying sort of really mixed up how we're going to be seeing this race going. I mean, Caesar taking his, I think this is his first pole position of the season so far. I suppose there would be a say of, yeah, you could probably tip him for maybe the win tonight, but at this track, you don't want to be starting on pole. You really want to be starting on that second row of third/fourth, because of the long run up to turn 2. It's very, very difficult to maybe even attempt to try and hold that first position, kind of like Mexico. But quickly, I'll run through the results of qualifying. Caesar, of course, putting it on pole with Mark just alongside him in second. Jeroen in third with XL, Brie in fourth, Rudy in fifth, Raleigh in sixth, Peter in seventh with Comment List in eighth, Miami in ninth, and Tin Cam rounding out the top 10. Luke on the poleman's pole position in 11th with Tim Mats in 12th, Eduk 13th, Trench in 14th, White YY in 15th, RJ in 16th, Chill 17th, K-Mark in 18th, Sofian in 19th, and Cam K at the back of the grid. Unfortunately for our T5 champion, he will be starting at the very, very back of the grid, and I'm assuming this is where we're going to be seeing the alternate strategy go along, unless it rains, which it doesn't look like it.
It doesn't look like it at all. You mentioned if Mark would be a little bit disappointed with second place, but I don't think he will. I think he'll be secretly chuffed that he has a nice banana to tow him all the way down to turn 2. I don't think you want to be on pole position here. It's an intimidating place to be, like at Mexico, like at Spain, to have 19 cars in your slipstream abusing the ERS. So I think the guys not on pole but at the front will secretly be a little bit pleased.
No, without a doubt. So I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go throughout this session. Of course, we're just waiting for the drivers to get their strategies all sorted out and all of their fuel. If they wanted to change anything on their park firmware setup, then of course, if it allows them to, then that isn't a problem. Who do you possibly see could be taking this tonight then, Jake? Because as I said, we've seen 3 race winners so far out of 3 races. Are we going to be seeing a new winner tonight?
My instinct is to go with Brie, Rudy, or Raleigh, someone from 4th, 5th, or 6th, just because they're good at either not picking up penalties, or keeping their noses out of trouble. Caesar, we've not really seen him fight at the front this season so far, so he's a bit of an unknown quantity. Old School's had his nose dirtied a few times at Austria and at Canada, and Jeroen, again, we've not seen him fighting at the front, so if I were a betting man, I'd be very safe and say someone who's starting 4th, 5th, or 6th today will be the one leading at the checkered flag. What about you?
I don't know.
Sums D3 up that, doesn't it?
Apologies about that one. Sorry, I'm not too sure what just sort of happened there. But yeah, no, I mean, who I'd probably tip to see for the win tonight, I don't know. I might actually go with Caesar. I know he hasn't exactly had the best of races so far. Of course, as I said, you don't want to be started on pole position around here because it's going to be tight, especially in that run down to turn 2. But I mean, if he just gets a good enough getaway when those lights go out, again, it's easier said than done, but if he gets a good enough getaway, I would actually really say that he'll just sort of run away and just go straight for it. I know Mark's pace, as I said, in practices, it's just been insane, but this is the real deal. It's not actual practice anymore. This is the actual thing. So it depends if Mark. I know he's not a man to to sort of crumble under pressure, but I don't know. It's going to be between those top 2, I reckon. If I'm going to say anybody for 3rd though, I'm going to actually say it's going to be someone that's not going to be likely to pick up any penalties, and I'm actually going to say Rudy.
I think that's a very wise shout. I think someone who doesn't get penalties is going to be in there or thereabouts.
Yeah, no, they certainly will. As I said, it's a bit of a penalty-heavy track, so we'll wait and see if it is the case that they do end up picking up any penalties. As I said, we'll see quite a few for tonight, but we are just getting ready to go. And we are waiting for these 5 red lights to go on and a better camera angle. There we go. You see the 3, 4, 5 red lights. A very, very long hole, but lights out and away we go. And as I said, Peter, he needed to get a good run. Well, Mark is the one that's alongside him, and the other 2 just behind him did not exactly get a good run. Mark trying to go down the inside of Caesar, going in towards turn 2. There's a free wide collision going on down the back of the field, and oh my goodness!
Crash.
There's about 7 cars that didn't get involved in all of that. Peter getting a 5-second penalty with a collision with Tim Matson. Oh my god!
What on earth happened there? There's at least 7 cars involved in that. I didn't see one spun sideways, but I saw some Haas front wing. So we've got several spinners. We've got about 3 or 4 other cars that have got wing damage as well, and we've got some penalties to boot. What on earth has happened? I could not unpick that live as I tried.
I don't know. I'm looking at who's got damage. I can see Chill's got damage, and I'm assuming Sofian does as well if he's had a penalty put onto his name. Peter and Tim Matson. I think Peter, Raleigh and Luke were all the ones that were going at 3 wide. And Rudy as well, down in now 20th position. Yeah, half a wing. Tim Mats, no wing on him. I don't know if Edok no wing. Peter, wing damage.
Everyone from Chill Down has damage apart from Cam K, who will be counting his lucky stars because he started last on the grid. And he's going to be up to 12th at the end of the first lap. Remarkable.
Oh my goodness. That is... I think that's one of the biggest crashes I've seen on this game, and somehow, no one has retired from that.
I was on board with Raleigh, and he was just completely into the wall head first. I have no idea how that did not sever his tyre, but he was a very lucky boy to get away with that. And Mark is coming into the pits.
And so
Mark's into the pits. Have they got damage?
I don't think so. I think what they're doing, I think they're actually going to come in and they're going to chuck on a set of mediums to go to the end, you know, because the mediums they can last a long time, especially if you're coming out with a couple of laps to go in the safety car. They're just going to be very, very worn at the end of the race, where it's going to be close to puncture territory, but I don't think it will be. And well, this has completely turned this on his head.
I can't fault their strategy. It's bold, it's brave, just completely sending it. They've got to hope that the field doesn't spread out too much, or there's not another safety car. But I would wish my time in town would correct. It's saying Old School and Tin Can are first and second. So I think, yeah, Cam K was the biggest winner out of all of this, I think. So we've got Caesar first, Jerome second, Bree third, Carmentless fourth, another big winner.
I'll tell you what, K-Mark as well is another one. He didn't end up getting any wing damage, and he's already up into 8th position from 18th. Cam K, like you said, he's up into, well, that's actually going to change to 10th, actually, because for some reason Tim Mats, for me, is the one that's got a bit of a timing glitch on that. But I think Tim Mats, I don't think he was safe throughout all of that carnage that went on. Yeah, he's just he's making his way up towards the end of Sector 1, so that should change itself very, very shortly. There you go. So
there we go.
Yeah, Cam K and K-Mark, and Trench as well. Trench already up into 6th position. This is... yeah. What did we see? What was that?
I couldn't even tell you who started it. All I saw was K-Mark in the wall and about 3 or 4 other cars with him. I would love to be able to dissect it, analyse it, but I just couldn't. But who have we got? So we've got Eduk on hards, he started on mediums. Chill on softs, we'll have to pit again. Tim Mats on softs, we'll have to pit again. But so apart from those two, everyone from 11th down is going to the end. So we've got half the field effectively in need of a stop, and half the field going to the end, with the exception of Chill and Tim Mats, who are out of sync. So that's quite a split of strategy. So I've got no idea how this is going to go now. Caesar's going to have to pull out 25 odd seconds on Mark to bring that pit stop back. That's a second a lap.
Yeah. So to be fair, Caesar, I think with that safety car, I would say that's more also helped him. It's helped Mark in the sense that he's now a pit stop done, and he may not need to pit again, but he's going to have a lot of traffic to work his way through. Whereas Caesar, he's at the front of the grid, he can control what is going on. He's got Jeroen and he's got Bree right behind him. Carmentless also up into 4th position and Miami up into 5th. I don't know. Caesar, if he gets again, it's that sense. If he gets a good getaway, like he did at the start, I think he could be home free. He might even get a bit of a pit stop, almost a pit stop gap up ahead of Mark. I think it's about a 26 or 27 seconds, if I'm not mistaken, for a pit stop.
That's a huge amount to pull back, though. It's not like Spa or Monaco where the gap was more like 16, 17 seconds. That is a lot of time he needs to find. He's going to get within a couple of laps, he'll have an 8-9 second lead anyway. But to then pull out another 17 seconds, even when he has fresher tyres at the end, he's a big ask.
That is a big ask.
Although Mark also is equally counting on this race not throwing up any more surprises, which there's a snowball in hell's chance of that happening, I would say, based on the last 38 laps of Division 3.
Well, I guess we will wait and see as safety car is now coming in this lap. Caesar slowing down that pack massively, making sure that safety car goes off into the distance. I wonder if this restart that Caesar's going for is going to be into the chicane, because if you see how much he is slowing up for that safety car is just making its way around that second part of that chicane. He might wait until...
I don't think he's gone. No, he's not gone. I was going to say, I think he was going to go and then realised he didn't have the gap, because that safety car needs to be across the line. He still doesn't have enough gap to go.
No, it still doesn't. Yeah, the safety car's still just making its way into the pits. And now, there you go. Before the penultimate corner, he has now gone. Caesar now goes off and leads this race once again. Jerome wasn't actually caught sleeping. However, Bree was. Look how close Car Mentalist is to the back of Bree, going in towards the final corner. Car Mentalist chucking on that overtake. Bree also putting on that overtake. Both of these guys now coming up in towards turn 2. Car Mentalist trying to hold it down inside. I think Bree with that straight line speed has managed to get that one. But Miami also, I think, is having a slight look at what is going on just in front of him, but no move done. It's a bit of a, well, Caesar, I think, had a really good getaway, and so did Jeroen. And now Car Mentalist once again trying to go for a move on Bree going in towards turn 3. No sort of move done for the Red Bull, just can't seem to find his way past, and down further in the field, nobody has still managed to get their way past. In fact, RJ dropping back massively from those top 8 guys.
Rudy and Tim Matson getting past Eduk. Eduk is not made the right call going onto those hards. He's already dropped back 2 places. He's about to lose a third, I think, to Peter, who fancies his chance. This is not an overtaking place, but those hards are not working, and Eduk tucks back underneath. He's going to try to swing it around the outside. Peter went very deep, but he's got nothing left in that car. Chill spun. We've got a spinner in Chill.
So Lenny in the chat was saying, he was saying that he reckons Chill's going to take the win. Well, I think that was a bit of a curse from one of the fellow QVR drivers, as Chill unfortunately is now down in last, and the other Haas of Mark still in 11th position. Still can't find a way past Cam K or RJ.
Chill's problem now is he was one of those 2 I mentioned along with Tim Mats, who has to pit again, who has already pitted. So unless it's unsafety car, that's taken Chill right out of it. For once, I am not the one cursing people in League of Europe. It's nice it's someone else's job.
Yeah.
Caesar's not managed to break DRS, has he? He's got a 7/10 gap. Bree a little further back, but he's now gapped Car Mentalist a little bit. K-Mark, probably one of the slower guys on the grid at the moment, is fallen out of DRS range on Trench. He goes very deep in turn 2. That's a warning right there. And Cam K and has passed Tin Can, and now he's sending up Old School through turn 4. You can go side by side through there, but Old School has momentum, and that's easy for him to stay ahead, but he goes a little bit deep. Mark doesn't look like he's really enjoying himself right now. Cam K very interested. So what happened to Tin Can? Did he make a big mistake or something? Because he was 10th. He's now 12th, and in the process, Cam K got right onto the back of Old School.
It was actually the case that Tin Can was actually behind Old School in 12th actually. Old School was 11th. Cam K actually lost the position to Mark, so that's what happened. Came up picking up a 3-second tyre penalty, and I think just getting very, very edgy now on these tyres. I think already starting to struggle, but those top 7 guys have already gotten out of that DRS range of the guys on those mediums behind him. YH1Y, the leading medium runner, but still having to make a pit stop. Mark may not need to make another pit stop as Tin Can. Very, very close now to the back of Cam K. Of course, still running in this about 10-car train all the way up to, well, in fact, all the way up to Eduk from Old School.
It feels like every race we have a nice little breakaway group of top 7 as Trench, first man in the top 6, gets penalty. But yeah, the top 7 have broken away, and we've got a 2-second gap to the medium. So we've got 2 trains going here. I was hoping this track we weren't going to have trains, but I think we've got trains, and that saddens me greatly.
No, it certainly does. Chill picking up the fastest lap of the race so far with 34.5 to Haas's name. There was just a switch then of Tin Can and Cam K. Cam K's actually
big
gone
spin
round.
for Cam K.
Oh dear, the American not going to be very happy with that one. Now down in last position. Again, another one that is still needing to make another pit stop. Bit of a rev glitch. I'm going to go off board with him. But unfortunately for Cam K, now gone round. I think that was at the turn 3. I know if you get a little bit too early on that power, you're going for a spin. And that looks exactly what he has done. So now, unfortunately for the Renault, running pretty well, but now down in back where he had started on the grid in last position. Chill picking himself up a 3-second time penalty. He's now starting to close back up to those guys up front in that train. Carmental is still close to the back of Brie up for that top 3 position, but still not close enough to getting any sort of move done. As all Kmart going very, very deep in towards the beginning of sector 3 chicane.
We've got a nice even little spread at the front now. Everyone within 5
Oh,
or 6
K-Mark's
tenths of the
gone
car
round.
in front.
Don't reverse into it! Oh, okay. He's just glitching on everyone. Okay. Oh, I was about to say, I thought he was going to reverse straight into someone. But yeah, Kmart now down in the 17th position. Trying to battle Peter on that restart. Kmart, again, he's another one that hasn't actually made a pit stop yet. So he's now on the back foot.
That's already his 3rd misadventure of the day after these 2 spins in qualifying. Add that to about the 5 he had at Canada last week. It's not K-Mark's season really, is it? But at least Chill and Cam K have now got company in Spinner's Row, as it were.
Yeah, no, he certainly do. So very unfortunate for Kmart. Was running pretty well, but I'll tell you what, someone that is running very, very well at the moment is Jeroen. He's currently in 2nd position, keeping tabs with Caesar, just keeping Caesar honest, as he is still leading this Russian Grand Prix so far, both with roughly about 70 to 60% ERS to their name. Brie, I think, is the one that's used the most in this train at the moment, on about 40% ERS to the Maltese's name. But they're all just sort of running in a bit of a formation at the moment. It's just one mistake that someone could make is where it's going to be... Well, I think is when we're actually going to see then a few more moves going down throughout the field. As you can see, Brie just trying to utilise his overtake and try to close back up to the back of Jeroen and hope that the Mercedes makes some sort of mistake.
I think Caesar's actually the cork in the bottle here. The guys behind him look much racier, much quicker, and Caesar is just trying to keep hold of track position. But Jeroen, Brie, Carmentalist, Miami, they all look very interested, and Brie's the first of our leaders to pit. I think that's about what I would have expected, lap 7, even without the safety car, or with the safety car. The thing is now, is he going to have a big undercut? If he gets the undercut, he can easily leapfrog into the lead of this race, but it's doubtful how good the undercut actually is here. It might not be that strong.
I'm really sorry. So Caesar's picked himself up a 3-second time penalty, and at the exit of turn 2, Carmentalist having an absolute code brown moment in that Red Bull. Very, very close to having a spin. Has managed to actually hold it in the end, so he does live to see another day. But Miami is the one, as I said, he's one that's someone that makes a bit of a mistake in this train, they're going to get gobbled up, and Miami is very, very now close to the back of Carmentalist, but no moves being done at the moment. The Racing Point just having to stick behind, as of course his teammate has made his way into the pit. Brie is actually come out in last.
We had because of the safety car, the field was very tightly wound, so I don't think that's too much of an issue for him. He's got nice clear air. Someone who else might be having a code brown right now is actually Old School, because we've seen how far YHYY and RJ have dropped off the leading group. As RJ is he gonna sail out the inside into turn 12? Easy textbook move there. Mark will try and follow him through, but yeah, Mark's getting caught in this train of 2 medium runners, and it's killing his race a little bit right now. It's any advantage he had of hoping he could stick in a train with the leaders is going, and he's going to have to sit behind these potentially until they pit, which might not be until lap 18, 17. That's a long way for Mark to go, and it's a big chance for the leaders to pull back that pit stop as Miami follows his teammate in the very next lap. Where's he going to come out?
Well, let's have a look. Brees just making his way around the penultimate corner now. Miami, I think, is just coming out of his pit box and making his way down the rest of the pit lane. So I think Bree will have the undercut on his teammate, but it's going to be very, very close. Or in fact, is he? Because Miami's just making his way out now. Has Miami actually got the jump on his teammate?
I think Breeze just held it off, has he?
Ever
Miami.
so slightly. I think Miami actually backed off to let his teammate go past. So I don't think that undercut really has paid dividends for the Maltese. And if he's only just managed to jump his teammate, well, for the rest of the guys up front, I think their softs are still a bit more intact than what his, what Breeze were. And I mean, they could get an overcut on the Maltese.
I think the longer these guys go, though, the less that advantage is going to be, and the more it's going to come towards the racing points. I don't think they can afford to sit and wait for too long, because really, what are they waiting for? Those mediums are going to go forever. Better to cover it off now, I'd say, or better to roll the dice for Giron or Carmentless. There's a chance. You've got to do something different if you want to get ahead of the guys in front of you. If it's just a train, the only thing you can do is do the other thing, and I'm surprised. Yeah, Giron and Carmentless coming in. I thought someone would have to come in this lap, and Carmentless nearly tapping the back of Giron there. I'm surprised Caesar's staying out. That's a very conservative strategy move to take, to not drive the strategy, just to sit and do your own thing.
You see, the annoying thing is now as well for Bree, he's stuck behind Kamke, who's yet to make a pit stop, and Kamke certainly isn't going to let these two racing points go through. But Bree, he was in that battle with Carmentless, he was in a battle with Giron as well. In fact, he was sandwiched between the two of them, and now he's going to have DRS to go and get past him. But look at where Giron and Carmentless are. They're just making their way out of the pits. There go the two racing points just alongside them. Who's going to come out where? This is going to be a bit of a fest here as K-Mark has retired from the session. I think we're 3 wide going in towards turn 2, as Giron dropping back behind the two racing points. And now in a battle with Kamke, a little bit of a tap from Kamke as K-Mark's actually binned it. And that was at turn 2.
It's a strange place to drop in there by yourself. I'd expect it he was racing someone else, but by yourself, that's very strange. And Carmentless will be gritting his teeth behind Kamke. He needs to get past. He's sending it into turn 6. He had to cut the corner in the process, and that's going to cost him a little bit of time. It certainly cost him a warning, and that was not something he needed to see, that Renault in front of him. But luckily, it's not cost him DRS on the guys ahead. Are we going to see, though, Caesar pit this lap? He has to, surely. He can't stay out anymore. If Breeze undercut Giron, he's got to come in.
He's going to have to, surely. Yeah, there you go. The Indian making his way into the pits. Our current race leader, which means that Vapor Trench is actually going to inherit the lead. Trench actually staying out on the soft tyres, so I'm assuming we'll see him, be seeing him come in next lap, as the pit window actually came up for me on his point of view. So yeah, I think we'll be seeing Trench come in next lap. Where are the rest of these guys though? Because they were all battling with Bree. As Bree's got round!
And he's got wing damage as well. He's going to have to come into the pits again. My word.
I can only assume with wing damage.
D3 have a clean race.
Surely he hasn't hit his teammate. Surely the teammates have not collided. There's Caesar just coming out of the pits, and there's Miami. Miami behind Caesar. So Caesar still getting an overcut on all of these guys.
Miami a lot closer than he was though. Because of course he had Vapor and his teammate between himself and Caesar. So this is played nicely into Miami's hands. But if we just take stock of the net order right now, Old School effectively leads. Tin Can is second, Luke is third, Rally's fourth, Sofian fifth, Rudy sixth, Tim Mats needs to pit again, Peter is seventh, Educk is eighth, Caesar is a net ninth with 7 seconds to close to Peter in front of him, and Miami is 10th. So we've got a really split race here. We've got one train now of the people who didn't pit under the safety car chasing the train of people who did, who right now are being bottled up by RJ and YHYY. This is a fascinating race we've got on our hands.
It certainly is interesting. As Trench still not coming into the pits as of yet. So Trench, he's still just he's holding out these softs as long as he possibly can. Might be just hoping for another safety car to make its way out, but no one again is still going into the pits as of yet. The guys that are that started on a set of mediums, or the only ones that are still left on a set of mediums, of RJ, YHYY and Kamke down in 18th. I'm assuming we're going to see Kamke make his way into the pits probably around sort of lap 15, lap 16 for all of these guys on the mediums, but they've got an absolute mission to do to try and hold back Old School, and at the moment they're doing an absolutely superb job, because Old School, I think he's just sort of following them for now, making sure that no one gets anywhere close to them. But I mean, once they come in, I think he's under a bit of trouble.
I mean, old school will see on the map how far behind Caesar and Miami is, and he knows he has an army of 7 drivers behind him who also don't have to pit, that these are going to have to make their way through. 15 laps to go, I think he fancies his chances here. I think if I know Mark, he'll think he's got this one if he just sits behind and then goes like a bull in a china shop once RJ and YHYY come in as Tin Can picks up a pen. That makes Mark feel even more comfortable.
Yeah, even more pressure now on Tin Can. Of course, by that 3-second penalty, he's going to drop back all the way behind around where Peter is, if my maths don't deceive me. But yeah, Mark at the moment then made the right strategy call to come in on that first safety car, but that's only at the moment. If a second safety car comes out, then it really would have stuffed him, because then RJ and YHYY, I know that there's a massive train going on behind them, but I feel like then Mark, he could be a little bit compromised from everybody else behind him when they're all still relatively close anyway. I think it's just a case of who's going to be the one that makes that first move, as Rudy's very, very close to the back of Sofian.
I'm not sure which way to call this. It's very finely poised. I'm keeping an eye on the gap between Caesar and RJ, because that's the most important thing right now. What rate are these guys, Caesar and Miami, how quickly are they catching those medium runners? And if it's not coming down enough, I think you've got to say that group who picked under the SC have got this, because those tyres are not going to puncture. I'm 90% sure they're not going to puncture, so they have to do it on track, and that's a chunk of cars to get through.
A bit interesting as well, actually. I think the guys that actually all got that damage on that first lap are all the ones that are currently from 3rd down to 10th, down to 11th even. So, or even to 12th actually. They've been sort of gifted, other than Tim Mats and Chill, who've put on a set of the softs. All these guys that are on the mediums now, I would say have more or less been gifted. Mark obviously being the exception, because he was the one, he got away with Caesar, but just made an early pit stop. I don't know. I still don't know who this favours, in all honesty.
I mean, Caesar's taken, I think, a second out of RJ this lap. He'll be wanting RJ and YHY to stay out as long as possible, because as soon as they come in, I think Caesar's pace relative to the leader is going to falter, and right now he needs 10 plus overtakes as well as a second a lap gained to win this race, which doesn't feel like it's going to happen. It could do. We could get another safety car. The guys at front could stay out, and we could see the guys who stayed out in the first safety car as chill, big moment.
Has he hit someone though? Has he hit your own? He's hit your own.
That safety car.
I don't think we have actually got a safety car yet. Nothing's come up on my screen, but your own's been collected, and there is that safety car. So RJ and YHYY have been absolutely gifted with a massive stroke of luck. Same with Tim Mats as well, especially him having to make another pit stop. He can go on those softs. These guys at the front can also go on those softs to go to the end of the race. Of course, when they make their pit stop, they're going to have a delta off the safety car. They're going to come out around where those guys were originally, of Caesar, of Miami, of Car Mentalist. Are we going to see these guys on mediums though? That went on the first lap to go on another set, or maybe even go on a set of softs.
This is a headache. I couldn't tell you what I would do. This was the case. Breeze in the pits. I think that was expected, but RJ and YHY could be very. I think they're going to come out around about where Vapor Trench is, so they'll lose out to Caesar, Miami, Car Mentalist.
Yeah. Car Mentalist is in, Sofian has followed in, Peter and Rudy, so Peter gonna have to double stack with his teammate. Tim Mats expected for him to come in, Eda expected for him to come in, Miami is coming in though, Car Mentalist is coming in, sorry, it was Luke that actually came in originally, so Luke gonna have to double stack with his teammate as well, Car Mentalist going to have to double stack with his teammate as well. I don't know who's... This is really shaking up the race, because RJ and YHYY are now respectively 5th and 6th. Or sorry, 6th and 7th.
Miami got held, and Miami's gone back onto another set of mediums. Did he have none left?
He mustn't have had
He's
any
the only
softs
man
left.
to come in and go on to mediums. That's a strange call. He's going to struggle to keep Mentalist behind it. So we have a top 5 that's strange, shall we say. Old School and Tin Can. Raleigh third. There's nothing necessarily strange about the drivers, but they're all on 12 lap old mediums. We've got Caesar Vapor on relatively fresh medium. And then we have a string of people on softs, led by RJDW and YHYY, who have gained the most out of all of the shenanigans that have gone on this race so far. You'd have to say Luke, then Sofiane, then Tim Matz. Rudy, who was your early tip to have a great race, currently sitting in 11th place. Educ 12th, he'll be so grateful to be off those hards. Peter 13th. I can't fathom the Miami thing. I can't get my head around why he's gone onto mediums and not softs. Even if he had an old set of softs, throw them on, they can go the distance.
You would still
As
choose.
Peter slows right down, like he looked like he was letting Miami through then. Peter, very strange. Bree will be counting his lucky stars as well. He's now rapidly closing in at just 1 minute and 10 seconds off the lead.
Yeah, well, that has obviously played into the favour of Bree, but I think I've tipped the wrong McLaren, you know. I think YHYY, once again, out of, a stroke of luck, or not even luck, just more, well, I suppose it technically is luck with that safety car. YHYY has been absolutely gifted because RJ, because Trench, because Caesar, because Tin Can, all have penalties in front of him. With him being on a fresh set of softs, all YHYY's got to do really is just sit behind RJ, let RJ do all of the dirty work, all the hard bit, and YHYY can just sit behind him and just wait. Really, it's down to Raleigh, it's down to Mark to get away from all the rest of these guys. But on those mediums, and they only pit on the first lap, they haven't pit again. They're going to be under a lot of pressure.
I'm surprised. Well, when you're at the front, it's hard to know what the rest of the field behind you is going to do. But I'm surprised that Old School and Tin Can and Raleigh stayed out, because had Old School pitted, he would have been. We would have had Caesar lead in, Trench second, RJ YHYY. Mark would have been in 5th on a fresh set of softs with no penalties, and 3 of those ahead of him would have had penalties. So
other than YHYY, of course.
Yeah, I think he would have fancied his chances of getting past YHYY, because I think during that first stint he was just sitting back because he knew they had to pit. Now he is the hunted. You can argue track position versus raw performance, but he is going to be under a heap of pressure when these soft guys get through the field, and they will, because it always happens. The cream rises, in this case the cream being sticky new soft runners.
I don't know who to call. I really don't know who to call.
It's fun not knowing, isn't it?
That's one way of putting it. But, well, Division 3, of course, provided a very, very interesting race, to say the least. I believe the safety car will be in this lap. And we will be having this man on your screen of Mr. Old School 3000. Well, he's going to be, of course, taking us through the lead of it. Yeah, the safety car is in this lap, so we'll see how Mark will end up taking this restart on it. Tin Can, of course, and Raleigh, those guys all being on old mediums. They're going to be a bit under pressure from Caesar and Trench, but they're going to be even more under pressure from the other soft runners. And in all honesty, I think those top 3, the best 2 guys that they can hope that will hold the rest of them up is Caesar and is Trench, because they won't have fancied their chances of getting past them, but it's going to be very difficult, as I believe Mark has actually gone now at the end of this chicane. Has he gone?
No, I think he'll go between the second to last and last corners. It's where I'd go. And
yeah, there we go. Straight on the pedal on Raleigh. Look how close he is to the back of Tin Can. So safety car now back out of it. Luke getting a 3-second time penalty between now. And there is more yellows. That's, I believe, Jeroen and I believe Bree making their way into the pits. Here we go. Raleigh now trying to go down the inside of Tin Can, going in towards turn 2. Both of these guys, as I said, they want to really hope that those medium runners behind him and the soft runners, they don't want to try and get anything done. And there you go, Raleigh. A little bit of contact now. Caesar trying to go down the inside of him, going through turn 4. around the long sweeping left-hander. Caesar putting on that overtake, I think is going to get this move done. He's going to have the outside for turn 5. Massive bit of contact. I think may have tapped the back of Tin Can, and there you go. It allows Trench to go straight through, and RJ now trying to make his way through as well.
Did Raleigh get damage from that? He hit quite hard, and Caesar and RJ going side by side, and YHYY is very interested as well. They bump wheels going through. Caesar's forced to run wide. RJ, I think, has that. Caesar sends it down the left-hander, and now RJ's forced wide just like Caesar was. And YHYY's down the outside, but gets squeezed.
He's
by
got wing
Caesar.
damage. So
And Luke and RJ going 3 wide. Caesar's completely backed off of this.
oh my goodness.
And now RJ's trying to squeeze himself between Luke and Caesar. Caesar sends it very deep to cover the position, and now Sofian's looking at Luke.
Caesar, I mean, I said well, the two guys that were going to help those top 3 were going to be Trench and Caesar. He's certainly done it, because he's now given YHYY wing damage. RJ still cannot find a way through, just getting sort of, I suppose, shoved off by him. I know you got. I know you got
a
a
2-second lead out of this.
Yeah, he certainly has. Tin Can, I don't know what has happened to him, but he has not had a very good run. RJ now going down the inside of Caesar, going in towards turn 1. He's going to have the inside for turn 2 as Caesar. In fact, I think he might even be a car behind RJ now. Yeah, as RJ down the inside of turn 2, and he's going to have that place done. Luke is going to be the next one. At this minute, this is now favouring Tim Mats. It's now Tim Mats trying to go down the inside of Sophie and going through turn 4. Once again, it's just keeping it as tight as he possibly can, keeping the outside line of Sofian. And, well, Sofian just manages to hold up ahead of Tim Mats, but Tim Mats diving it straight down the inside on the Alpha Tauri. A little bit of contact between the pair of them. Still a bit of contact going on between the pair of them. Tim Mats is actually now in a little bit of a very good position.
He's in a very good position. No pens. He's keeping it. He's got past Sofian, which is one of the ones he's on the same tyres as him. Sofian trying to look back, but nothing's going to come from that, and Rudy goes very wide behind them. He's having a good race. It's turned scruffy, and now Tim Matson had a poor exit onto the straight. Sofian and him bump wheels, and Rudy looks like he could send this into the chicane.
Oh,
He's not,
Tim
but Tim
Mats
Mats
has
does,
sent it!
and
Oh!
Sofian spun. Tim Mats has damage in the process. His front left end plate's gone. Sofian came out of that the best. Rudy said thank you very much. He took 2 positions for the price of 1. Tim Mats now sliding behind Peter.
Peter's also
He's
got wing
gonna
damage.
try and go for it. Yeah, and Carl Mentalist is behind them, thinking, please get out of my way. Side by side through the last 2 corners. That, my word.
This race has turned
D3,
absolutely
what
insane.
D3 never fail to disappoint, do they? And here comes Tim Mats back down the inside of Peter. I don't think there's going to be any love lost here, and Tim Mats sends it very deep. Peter will try to cut back underneath him, and he does. He bumps Tim Mats, gets a little squirm and sends it around the outside. Carl Mentalist now can drive clean around the outside of turn 4. We'll have the inside for 5. If we don't have the Bottas and Raikkonen situation, Tim Mats will squeeze into within an inch of his life onto that apex. He will fight it as long as he can. I don't know why he's got that wing damage.
Oh.
Gary Donegan, don't at me, but
Yeah, Commented is now
Mentalist
picking up a
is
3-second
through.
pen. So
And Mark is now 2.5 seconds clear.
Tim
And
Mats-
I think Tin Can had a little squirm out onto the straight. Sorry, is
Yeah.
something. RJ passing Raleigh as
Yeah.
well, up for 4th place.
there's so much going on there. Don't know where to look, man. There is so much going
Cam K,
on.
Miami. Cam K passes Miami. Miami had a half look back. Nothing going there.
Yeah.
Oh, Rudy, Caesar and Luke going through the off-camber chicane. Luke cuts back underneath Caesar. He straightens it up. He's got a great run now into the second to last corner. I don't think anything Caesar can do about that except try and cut back the last corner, but he doesn't have the grip on those tyres. And now Rudy is going to try and make it double pain for our pole sitter. And now Vapor's passing Tin Can for P2.
I don't
Sorry,
think it's only
Jay Cole,
him.
I spoke a long time there, but too much was happening.
There was so much going on. I was riding on board with Edo, riding on board with Tim Mats. Tin Can's actually had a bit of a...
Caesar.
Oh, Tin Can, sorry. He had a bit of a moment coming out of turn 2. RJ now through on him on those soft tyres. 3.3 seconds now separates RJ and Mark. Mark, of course, no
I'm
penalty for his
watching Rudy
name.
and Caesar. Rudy overtook Caesar, bumped him off the track. Well, Caesar went round the outside off the track, took back the position, then Rudy bumped him off to take it back into turn 5.
So much.
We're seeing some very angry driving right now. Not from Mark. He'll already be thinking about what beer he's getting out on the fridge to celebrate this one. And I look forward to his videos in the Discord later, because even with 7 laps left, I think he has this unless there's another safety car. It's just, what on earth is the order going to be behind him?
He's already gone off to the shops and already bought himself a 6-pack, and I'm not talking about abs. He's gone for a 6-pack of beer already. I think Mark already knows that this is already his to lose. The only one that's really going to put him in contention is going to be RJ, who's stuck behind trenches. There are more yellow flags, and that is Car Mentalist.
We have a 5th driver to join Spinners Row today, ladies and gents. It's Car Mentalist. And we've got Vapor and RJ in very, very close company. I think RJ is getting this place back into turn 1. And I think Vapor even let that go. That was academic. And Luke does the same on Tin Can.
I'm really trying to find a way past Raleigh, but still cannot find any sort of move done. Did you say Raleigh also has a bit of damage? Because I can't seem to see anything. It doesn't.
I wasn't sure if he did on the first lap off safety car. I can't remember who it was, but he hit the back of somebody. Fair whack, but he did well to escape without damage there, because I got damage for something much lighter last week. Gary Donegan, don't at me. Old School's lead has been cut though. Now we got RJ on softs. He's been unleashed from Vapor Trench, and that gap has plummeted already by a second since he's got through. 1.7 now. This race isn't over. He can pop the 6-pack back in the fridge and get back on his game console, because he has a race to win. It's now 1.5.
This is going to come down to the wire between those two. Rudy very, very close to the back of Raleigh once again, but no ERS to his name, no ERS to Raleigh's name. It's just the straights that are really helping the Ferrari off staying ahead. Raleigh, though, trying to go for a bit of a better run coming up towards the chicane. Maybe try and have a bit of a dive. No, he doesn't. Rudy just staying behind the Ferrari for now. He's going to have a bit, try and get a bit of a better run coming up towards the penultimate corner, but Raleigh still managing to hold his own up ahead of the soft runner. 18 laps now these guys have done on these medium tyres. These mediums, as I said, they can last probably about 23 to 24 laps. With the safety car as well,
RJ has DRS.
And really?
RJ has DRS. Those mediums must be crying from Old School. He doesn't have a pen, but at this rate you wouldn't put it past RJ to get a 3-second gap. And Rudy and Caesar, I just caught the end of that through turn 3. I think Rudy got past Caesar, and now Eduk and Sofian are going side by side through turn 4. Eduk has the inside line. Sofian's going to reclaim it for turn 4. Eduk tries to swing it around the outside, and he does, because Sofian, did he have wing damage? I don't think he did. I know there's several people running around out there.
Yeah, Sofian hasn't got
with broken wings to various degrees.
Look at this though. The front of the grid, RJ 0.4 of a second behind Old School now. 13 lap younger tyres and on softer tyres. RJ, he's really just got, in his last 5 laps, he's going to need to get past Old School and get an absolute gap to the Haas, but I don't think Mark is going to give this one up very easily. In fact, he doesn't even look as if he's turning on his DRS. He's just trying to sort of stay out of a bit of slipstream. He's going to try and go for it maybe in towards turn 1/2, so then Mark doesn't have any more of a gap. As Rudy getting past Raleigh now, going around the outside. I think that was at the beginning of sector 3, so you have the inside line for that chicane, and now he's going to have Tin Can coming up against him. Caesar now still holding up behind the both of them, and the same with the rest of the soft runners. Eduk, as one of them was Sofian and Timmas, with that wing damage to his name, is holding up the rest of these guys. Camk still cannot find a move past the Alfa Romeo, but coming down this long straight, you might think he will, but here we go. RJ DRS now wide open for the Alfa Romeo. Mark just holding down the inside in towards turn 1 and coming up towards turn 2. I don't think Mark is going to have any sort of answer for it. RJ storms into the lead of the race, and now 5 more laps is what the Alfa Romeo has got to do. If he can do it, if he can get those 3 seconds up on the Haas, then this is RJ's race. As you said, Mark, he's going to need to put those 6-pack away.
Oh, he ducked down the inside of Caesar into turn 4. That was a cracking overtake. I just caught the end of it. Raleigh nearly slams into the back of him. Tyres locking up, and we saw Camk lose a position. He's side by side with Miami through turn 5. Miami just about held it on, but Tim Matz has got the inside for 6. Oh, The kissed side pods twice there, maybe a third time for good luck. Indeed, Tim Mats says, I don't care if you want 11th place, I'm pushing you off the track to get it. And now Car Mentalist is tucking into this. We've got a nice little 4-car scrap here for 11th place. Miami cuts back under Tim Mats. He's got DRS, he's going to sail past. Is Kamke going to follow him as Sofian and Raleigh exchange places? Is Kamke going to get a double overtake here? He's got the inside on Miami to turn 12. Bravely thinks better of it, but Tim Mats isn't giving up that easily, and now, oh my, too much is happening. It's impossible to commentate on. Car Mentalist takes 13th. Kamke had designs on 11th. It's now in 14th.
And if I'm not mistaken, I think as well as Tim Mats, I think Car Mentalist also... Did Car Mentalist pick up any bit of damage? No, he doesn't. So no damage on the Red Bull's front end. But look how close Trench is now to the back of Mark. In fact, I think Trench is going to fancy his chances here, going down in towards turn 2. Trench breaking very, very late into turn 2. Going to just hold the apex for turn 3 and going down in towards turn 4 now. Mark and Trench both going at it. Luke very close to the back of these guys as well on those soft tyres. All of this is really hurting Mark's chances of a win, and this is allowing RJ to get away. RJ could very well on for taking his first race win of the season, and I believe his first race win in the League of Europe. I don't know if he picked any up in season 1. I can't remember too well. I think he might have done actually, but yeah, I mean at the moment RJ he might be tipped here for this win.
Oh, he's got a 2.7 second lead to Mark, and it's growing corner by corner as Car Mentalist and Tim Mats resume their love affair. Car Mentalist now through on the Alfa Romeo driver, and well, on the softs he's got sight set on Miami. But what about Luke on Old School? Old School's saved by DRS this lap, but will he have it down the main straight? I'm not sure if he will. Those mediums are crying in pain. They are suffering. Trench on mediums, of course, as well, but they're 11 laps younger.
Yeah, I think Trench might be able to just hold up on Old School. It just depends on if Old School's going to have that run. There you go, Luke, though. Look how much of a better run he got out of that chicane. Luke now going to go down the inside of Old School, going in towards the penultimate corner. He's actually holding it there, and Luke just has to back out. Old School does manage to hold it around the outside, but this is now going to allow Mark to not actually have any DRS to Trench. Luke, I think he's actually played an absolute blinder on this one, because now DRS on him. Mark, no DRS to his name. Mark going to hold it down the inside. Luke going to have to go around the outside, go the long way around on the Haas, and I don't think Mark's going to be able to do anything about it. No, he is not. Mark, like you said, these mediums are screaming now, and Mark, he's now dropping out of that 3-second gap. It's now 3.4 seconds behind RJ. Rudy is the next one to maybe, just maybe, could be on for a tip of the win. But I think RJ's got. I think he's done enough.
He's well, really straight into the back of Mark's DRS, and I don't think Mark may even end up off the podium here with the way things are going. He's now 3.8 off the lead. RJ is gone. Rudy, I think, is about to be gone. Vapor Trench possibly as well. I'm not sure exactly how many pens they have. Let's have a look. Yeah, only 1 pen apiece for each of them. Mark could yet end up finishing 5th here.
He certainly could. Rudy not just putting on his overtake, just waiting behind Old School at the moment. Luke, though, 8 tenths now up ahead of the Haas, so you've got to think through Sector 3, Mark might be struggling to keep in that DRS of the Red Bull, and Rudy actually trying to go for a bit of a switchback on them on the Haas up in front of him, but the McLaren just has to stay behind the Haas for now. Mark doing everything in his power to get a good enough run. Rudy trying to go for a little bit of a better run coming out of that chicane, but Mark doing everything he can in his power to stay in that DRS, and I think he might have missed out on that DRS. So let's have a look. Rudy 2 tenths back behind the Haas. Here we go, going down towards turn 1. Mark, no DRS to his name, so Rudy's just going to sail on by around the outside. Mark, nothing that he can particularly do, and no ERS to his name either, and that is him off of that. Well, I don't think that's actually him off of the podium. No, that is him off of that podium position now. So Mark, unfortunately for him, in fact, no, that's not actually. I think he's about a second
He's just
off.
hanging on to Vapor Trench, yeah. But if Trench, he's got to stick in a little DRS trade here, because if he doesn't, he's going to fall behind Trench, and he could even fall behind Luke as well, even with just 1.5 laps to go. The other driver who pitted lap 1 and stayed out is Tin Can, and he's been slipping back as well in equal measure since safety cars gone in, so it's definitely the wrong thing to do. We did speculate whether it might have been better for Mark to follow RJ and YHY in. We were speaking about YHY as well as a potential winner of this race. He's now in 15th. I'm not too sure how that happened, but he's having a nice little battle with Jeroen Visser and Brie, all of whom at various points in this race we thought they could win this one.
Yeah, I think it was that
how the
contact he had
turntables.
with. I think it was that contact he had with Caesar. I think White Chai was when it was him, White Chai and RJ all battling. Unfortunately for him, I think it was just where Caesar moved back onto the racing line. I don't think he saw White Chai was there, put him into the wall, and then gave White Chai that wing damage. So unfortunately, that's why he's all the way back down in 15th position. I think he picked for a new set off Sauce as well as Jeroen and as well as Brie as well. But yeah, look how close now Rudy is to the back of Luke. Mark has lost out that DRS. And what's that gap now? That's about 2.3.
He's got about 4. Yeah, he needs to keep it to within half a second on this lap of Vapor Trench, otherwise he's off the podium. And Raleigh dispatches Tin Can into turn 2. Williams driver drops back even further. What a miserable race this has been for, well, racing
all of us.
after having 2 front row lockouts, or a front row lockout in the first and third, was it, at Canada, and they now find themselves in 12th and 17th, with just going to get 1 point from this race. Actually, not even that. Oh no, they're going to get a few points actually from Miami, who doesn't have a penalty. But torrid race.
Yeah, not the race that the two
Not
racing
for RJ
points.
though.
I was about to say, yeah, definitely not the race that the 2 racing points would want, but one person is going to be very, very happy. In fact, 2 people will be very, very happy with their races, with RJ and with Vapor Trench. Both of those guys have done an exceptional job, played their strategies right, played their calls right. RJ especially getting that move done on Mark early, just so he can get up into the lead, get that gap from everybody else behind. Rudy, unfortunately, is about 3.7 seconds behind. So coming around with 2 more corners to go, and coming around the final corner, RJ will come round and take his first win of the season in the Alfa Romeo. Congratulations to him. Rudy does end up finishing in 2nd position, with Trench does jump into 3rd. Mark was not close enough on that final lap. He lost, I think it was about half a second on that final lap. So unfortunately for him, he's now missed out on that podium. Luke does end up finishing in 5th. I think his highest result so far of the season. And same with Eduk in 6th position. Raleigh does jump down into 7th. Sofian in 8th. Miami does jump up into 9th, with Caesar, the person that started on pole position, unfortunately for him, drops down into 10th position. Tin Can in 11th, with Car Mentalist picking up that final point. Cam K from the back of the grid does jump up into 13th position, with Tim Matz in 14th. But that race was something else, Jake, especially at the beginning.
It was a race of 2 halves, wasn't it? It was absolutely bonkers, and I think I'd have been fascinated to see how the split strategies played out without that second safety car. But that second safety car gave us some madness, I think it's safe to say, and the start as well. You mentioned, I completely forgot it happened. I completely forgot that crash happened. Absurd. I've never seen anything like that in a league race. Thankfully, also never had to drive through a collision like that. But yeah, it was bonkers. I think it sums it up. Who's asked me to summarise each week? Canada was the same, and this, I have nothing to say. It's just mad.
I suppose you don't want to call it a bit too early, because we've got Division 2 in about 15 minutes time, so you never know what can happen in that. But hopefully we don't have something similar to that. But RJ, he played that to perfection, just held up ahead of himself and White Chai. Very unfortunate for White Chai, because he could have been tipped to be right behind all of those guys. In fact, he was just behind RJ when all of that was going on, so could have potentially had that win. But unfortunately, with that collision with Caesar and RJ managing to get past him a bit cleaner, I suppose. Unfortunately, it's not White Chai's fault, but RJ does take the win. Rudy, again, as I said, even with that damage from that one incident, he finishes in 2nd. Trench, the first time he is on the podium, in 3rd. Mark does finish in 4th, with Luke in 5th, Eduk in 6th, Raleigh in 7th, Sofian in 8th, Miami in 9th, Caesar, what could have been for him, ends up finishing in 10th position. Tin Can in 11th, with Car Mentalist picking up the final point. Cam K finishing in 13th, Tim Matz 14th, Bree 15th, White Chai 16th, Jeroen in 17th, Peter in 18th with the fastest lap, Chill and K-Mark, the only 2 that unfortunately had managed to not finish the race in the end. I mean, yeah, like you said, Jay, I've got no words. I've really got no words for, especially that first half of that race. That first half of the race was just insane. and then that second safety car just, well, like you said, it was a race of two halves. You had that first half with that first safety car, then you had the second half with the second safety car where everything just went chaotic.
It was, the word I always come back to is absurd. It was truly a deranged race. These D3 drivers are absolutely bonkers. They shouldn't be allowed on a racetrack together, because they just bump into each other and overtake each other, and far too much. I mean, there's a serious point to be made though that it's entertaining as it is as for commentators and hard it is for us to follow, which is a good thing. You have to ask questions about the amount of wing damage and bump passes that we saw, because Formula One is a non-contact sport. It is not okay to bump your opponent off the track to get past them. And I lost count of how many times I saw that during this race. It's not really an acceptable way to drive. It's not an acceptable way to overtake. And we've seen it now 3-4 races in a row where we've seen these bump passes. And entertaining though it is, I say, it's not really on, is it? We need to see better driving standards.
Yeah.
I don't hold out hope because next week is Monaco. But a man can hope. A man can dream.
We can only hope. We can only hope. I suppose they're more like the final words of wisdom for what we have just witnessed for tonight. But I think that is where we are going to end that for tonight, everyone. Thank you very much for tuning in to the Division 3 stream. What an absolute race that was to come to the end of that. Congratulations, of course, go in order to RJ, to Trench, and to Rudy for finishing on the podium. Thank you everyone for watching, and we'll catch you guys next week for the Monaco Grand Prix.